most people look terrible in their pictures for one major reason, and that is simply they've never been taught how to do it. I believe, it leads on to my second core belief, is that being photogenic is teachable. It's a skill that you can learn. It's like riding a bike or driving a car, riding a skateboard. And the main reason that most people are scared as hell about being photographed is that they've simply never had anyone stand in front of them and go, right, this is your angle. This is your bigger eye.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. Favorite time of the evening. It's my great pleasure tonight to introduce you to a friend of mine, Brad Delaney, who is known around the Gold Coast and Brisbane as the headshot guy. So some of you will know Brad and have seen Brad. He's not always in the studio. Apart from being a fabulous headshot photographer, you'll often recognize some of his shots around. And I know that when I see people's photos online or see them on their websites, I think, there's a Brad Delaney shot. I can just tell the style. But he's often out surfing as well too. So I'd like to say he's an avid surfer, but he's more an avid wave shooter. So he shoots some amazing photography out with waves, and he's got an art exhibition at the moment with some of his wave art as well too. So Brad's been in the business for a while. He believes that everyone can become photogenic, and being photogenic is a skill that can be taught. So Brad is going to share with us tonight some tips and secrets behind how to take those exceptional headshots that often you see in a portfolio of movie stars and rock stars. So let's put our hands together for Brad Delaney.
Thanks, Nick. Good on you, buddy. Always a pleasure to be on. I've spoken with Nick a couple of times. I think I went to Brisbane once and I did another one at Carrara, I think, out there before the whole COVID thing, and now we're on Zoom, so that's okay. So have we got somebody from New Zealand? Is that right? Online, Victoria. Awesome. That's so cool. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So I'll click the button. Hopefully Nick and I did do a bit of a tech check before it all worked. So just a little bit of a thing. I've swapped platforms. So I've gone from a Mac to a PC with this particular presentation. So some of the headings are a bit funky. So if it looks a bit kind of out of whack, that's what it is. I've changed platforms, so I do apologize for that, but it still looks okay. You'll still be able to understand it. So let's have a share there and do that. It's just a little
what we would call artistic. So we've got an artistic flavor to it.
So do that. Okay, so can people see that? Kind of.
Yep, all looking good.
All good, all good. Okay, so let me just begin by giving you a couple of my core beliefs. My very first one, and I talk about this a lot, I believe that most people look terrible in their pictures for one major reason, and that is simply they've never been taught how to do it. I believe, it leads on to my second core belief, is that being photogenic is teachable. It's a skill that you can learn. It's like riding a bike or driving a car, riding a skateboard. And the main reason that most people are scared as hell about being photographed is that they've simply never had anyone stand in front of them and go, right, this is your angle. This is your bigger eye. This is which side of your mouth you smile out of. Now, we're seeing more of you now, but I'm sharing my screen. I'm only seeing about 3 or 4 of you. So, but have a think about your own face. Yeah. Now, when you look in the mirror, you generally will have your hair parted on one side of your head, not the other. Now, there's reasons behind all this stuff. Now, a lot of the lessons and the things that I teach people during my sessions from what actors and actresses get taught about their own face. Now, I suppose headshots primarily historically have been the domain of actors and actresses and even models to that degree. But social media being the wonderful thing it is, all of a sudden, corporates have to understand how they're going to present themselves on their social medias, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, and I could go on and on with all those various social mediums now. So for me, certainly being photogenic is teachable. So let's see if we can move that. There we go. Okay, so that's shooting. So who am I? So I was born in Melbourne. I'm a son of an artist. My mum's an artist. She's a painter. Played a little bit of AFL football for a while there. Was a bartender. I got my start as a photographer, as a private investigator, which meant that for a good considerable time, I spent sitting in the back of cars, taking photographs of people that were either not doing the right thing by the insurance companies or along those lines. So in 1999, I finished my MBA at Oxford University in the UK. I then moved to Japan, where I was a surf photographer for some time. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2007. So I spent most of 2007 fighting that, doing all that. And then I got up out of bed basically and said, I don't want to spend 10 minutes doing shit I don't want to do anymore. So in the middle of a GFC, our last GFC, when was that? About 2008 or 9 or something, I started my photography business. So the Headshot Guys was born. So why am I here? I love making images. I really want to improve the industry. So I do run workshops and I teach other photographers some of the stuff that you'll hear tonight. I really don't want to have to work for anybody else. And obviously money. Who doesn't love making money? So that's it. So I have a little bit of a unique style. And Nick did mention before that when he goes to a website and he looks at their About Us page and he sees a headshot, he can often tell whether or not it was shot by me, because I generally shoot in a horizontal format, which you can see there. Now, there is a reason why I do that. This style actually comes from the TV and the movies. And often when they do a close-up of people on TV or in the movies, this is often how they will crop you. Now, the reason that our TV screens and our computer screens and our cameras are in horizontal format is because it matches the way our eyes see. Our eyes see from left to right, or take in information, I suppose is a use of a better word. They take in information from left to right. Now, this image becomes easy to look at because I have enough white space here where we get a chance to rest our eyes. So I have a white background because it's easy to replicate. It's easy for graphic designers to cut the head out of that and put it wherever they like when they get creative. The other thing I do is I chop the top of people's heads off. Now, the reason I do that is because I want to get the eyes, as the most important thing in any portrait, above centerline. So I put it on the top third of the image. So that's hence the reason why. And I like the proximity. People that are looking at your headshot want to see your head. That's the most important thing in your headshot is your head. I get nice and close. Can be a little bit intimidating when people see my work and they go, wow, man, you're pretty close. But, you know, that's why I like it. People want to be able to check you out and suss you out. All right, so I'll just click through a couple of these images. Obviously, as you can see, it's a pretty good format. Okay, so I have 3 goals out of any session. So I want to create some amazing images that delight my clients. I want to create a good atmosphere and provide a good experience, because I understand for most people, they want to come in and get a close-up headshot about as much as they want to go to the dentist. So, you know, you've got to make it a good experience for people. But the third one I think is the most important thing. I want to give my clients some skill. As I said, I believe that being photogenic is teachable, so that you leave my studio And anytime anyone sticks a camera in your face, you've got a little bit of an idea about what to do when you're being photographed. And that's really, really important. So they're my 3 goals out of any session. Okay, so what is a headshot? So a headshot for me is a photograph of your head and your shoulders. So there is some confusion out in the marketplace at the moment. I get a lot of people come in and go, oh, I want a half body shot or I want a full length shot. They're not headshots. The other thing that people ask me for often is shots of them in a location. And again, they're often not headshots either. Now, you can have a headshot on a location, that's fine. But people are getting confused between the difference between a headshot and what would you call a lifestyle shot. So a photograph of you walking along the beach is not a headshot, it's a lifestyle shot. A picture of you in your car or you and your dog or you at a coffee shop is not a headshot, it's a lifestyle shot. So it's showing your lifestyle. So they're fantastic images, and if you get them, you can use them throughout your website. But generally a headshot is for display on your about us page, because people want to connect with you. People do business with people, not with logos and businesses. So that is my rundown of a headshot. They're obviously not headshots. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we start to think about as we're moving through your session is we need to know your better side. Now, again, historically, models and actors have always known their better side. Now, better side is probably one of those words. You could say stronger side, softer side. So now, again, I talked a little bit before about people with their hair part. Now, if you look in the mirror and you've got your hair parted to one side or the other, now I'm going to pick on Aldwin there because I can see her on my screen. Now, she has her hair parted on the right-hand side of her face. Now, yep, so generally, and these are generalizations, generally women in particular will part their hair on their favored side of their face. Now, what they're doing is they're opening up and saying, look at me from this angle because it looks better. Now, often that coincides, and again, these are generalizations, but often it coincides with their bigger eye. Now, I've only got a little tiny picture there of Aldwin, but I'm guessing that if we looked really closely, we might be able to see that her right eye is a little bit bigger than her left eye. Yeah, and that's not unusual. 86% of people have one eye bigger than the other. Yeah. Now, what I do notice about Aldwin is when she smiles, her smile starts on her left-hand side. Now, it catches up, her right side catches up, but it starts on her left-hand side. So these are the types of things that start to give us a bit of an indication about, okay, so if we photograph Aldwin a little bit from her left side, we know that it's going to be slightly softer. Yeah. If we go to her right side, now because her smile starts on the opposite side, on her right-hand side, we know that to get a softer image, she has to be smiling that much more. Yeah. So it really comes down to which side you want to present. Now, why that's important? Well, it might depend on what you do or what type of image you're trying to present. Now, I know I follow some of these big social media guys in the States, and they're often talking about the idea that you need to potentially have a different headshot on all of the different social mediums, because obviously there are different markets. So if you spend a lot of time on Facebook, where potentially there might be a few more mums and dads, as opposed to LinkedIn, which might be a little bit more corporate, whereas Instagram, it's probably a little bit younger. Now, at the moment, right now, a very trendy place to hang out is TikTok. Now, my 10-year-old son hangs out on TikTok, but in 5 years' time, that potentially could be your audience, because everything ages up. Now, most of you would remember that Facebook started out, I think, in the universities in America. So it was a way to share information between university students. So, you know, my mum's 83 now. She's on Facebook. She likes my stuff and comments on my stuff more than anybody, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we get back to our face. So have a look at your own face in the mirror. See whether or not your eye, one eye is bigger than the other. See whether or not it coordinates with your hair part. Yeah. It's sometimes hard to look at your own face online. You might have to get your partner or a friend to sort of say, well, is my eye, one eye bigger than the other? Does it match my hair part? So these are just a couple of little things that, like I said, models and actors have known this stuff, and that's why they always talk about their side. Now, all of a sudden, as I've said before, it can become relevant to corporates because all of a sudden they need to know what they're presenting to the world, because obviously your headshot is primarily about your potential clients. Now, I do have a little catchphrase, and I say, don't let your partner choose your corporate headshot. Now, the reason I would say that is because your partner will often choose the image that most makes you look like their partner, and not often the image that most makes you look like the rock star in your industry, keeping in mind that your corporate headshot is about looking like you know what the hell you're doing. It's not about having the best personality. I have lots of people come into the studio and go, oh, I want to show my personality. And I go, really? Why? Nobody cares about your personality. If I'm looking for a lawyer, I'm not going through LinkedIn going, oh, I'm going to find the lawyer with the best personality. Yeah. Or I'm going to find the prettiest real estate agent or the youngest real estate agent. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the best. Yeah. I'm looking for the best media queen. I'm looking for the best website designer. I'm looking for the best lawyer. I don't care about their personality. If they have a good personality, that's fine. But the most important thing is I'm looking for somebody that looks like they know what the hell they're doing. Does that? Hopefully that kind of makes sense, because there is, you know, certainly for corporates, I think having a headshot is taking on more significance as personal branding. You know, personal branding is not going away. It's here to stay, and it's only going to grow bigger. Now, the reason I think that it hasn't gotten as big as it should have in Australia yet, I blame photographers. There's not enough photographers out there that are skilled enough to be able to make people look good enough. Yeah. So if you've got a crappy looking headshot, you're not going to want to put it everywhere. You don't want to blast it out to Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all those different places because you think, God, I look terrible. Yeah. Now, the reason that happens is because historically, a lot of photographers, what they do is they stand you up against a wall and they tell you to smile, and they take 10 shots, and then you pick the least worst shot, and that becomes your headshot for the next 10 years. And then when you go, God, do I have to update my headshot? Really? Oh, God, that was such a horrible experience last time. So I'm hopefully trying to make it a better experience. And by doing that, you get a better shot, hopefully. Okay. So I often talk about the golden ratio when it comes to your face, yeah, and your best angle. Yeah, golden ratio, you can see it there, is 1 to 1.618. Now, Leonardo da Vinci used to theorize about the golden ratio, and he always said if you measured from the ground to your hip and then from the ground to your knee, the ratio between that distance would be 1 to 1.618. He used to be able to, that's why he used to be able to draw people so accurately, because he could extrapolate that distance out throughout the rest of your body, and you would be able to understand your dimensions. So how does it pertain to your face? Well, when we look at the Angelina Jolies of the world and the Brad Pitts of the world and the Kate Mosses of the world and go, wow, they're so beautiful. The reason that we believe that they're so beautiful is they're quite symmetrical, and generally their faces fit into this golden ratio that they talk about, this 1 to 1.618. So what does that mean in a headshot sense? Well, basically what it means is that when we're in the studio, we need to be doing little turns one way or the other, and we balance up your symmetry. And that's when we start looking at things like your bigger eye, which side of your mouth you smile out of. How do we make your face more symmetrical? By just turning it a little tiny bit to one side or the other. Yeah, because generally our faces are not that even. Our faces are generally not that symmetrical. So by just giving it a little bit of a turn, and often to our bigger eye side, which is often our stronger side or our better side, we're presenting again a better more symmetrical image to the world, to our potential clients when they're looking at our corporate headshot. So hopefully that makes sense. Can people jump in with questions, Nick? Is that something, or I just go and then I just worry sometimes that people go, oh yeah, I want to ask the question about that.
Yeah, no, up to them. If you're happy to take questions, that's good. There are a few comments there in the chat.
Yep.
If you can see that, or do you want me to have a look through that for you?
Yeah, if you can have a look through that. I can't see the chat from where I am. I don't know what I'm doing.
So got one here from Penny. Just curious,
Yep.
when you get headshots done for acting, they always require a full body shot.
Yes. I generally say there are three types of people that need a full body shot: actors, models, and fitness trainers. And I include fitness trainers in that lot because if you're not the fittest dude in the whole world, you're not going to get my money as a fitness trainer. That's what I think. I do get a lot of corporates come in and go, I want a half body shot or I want a full body shot. Generally, I would say my first question would be why? Because I don't believe that there are too many occupations other than modeling, acting, or fitness training that are influenced by your body shape. Like I could put on 50 kilos and I don't think it's going to change my ability to take photographs. Alternatively, I could lose 50 kilos and I'd be pretty crook, but you get my picture. So your body shape, I think, is completely irrelevant generally to the job you do, unless you're in one of those professions. Now, I think if you're an actor and they require you to get a body shot, well, that's generally so they can, whether it comes down to clothing, depending on the role. If you're a model, same kind of thing. They need to know, can you model bikinis? Can you model lingerie? Can you do jeans? Can you do, whatever? So, they're looking to, I suppose, validate often the dimensions. So if they, and it saves them a bit of time, obviously in a casting type situation where they might have 50 people come in or 100 people come in. If the role is for a person that's, quite thin, then, they're going to have a way of weeding out the people that are not so thin, or vice versa. The role might be for a large person, woman or man. So they have to have a way of weeding them out. So I think it's applicable.
There's just one more from old one, more of a comment really. So you might be able to comment on this as well too. And she's talking about headshots for acting.
Yep.
They don't want you to smile because they want to be able to picture you in various roles.
I think I've never heard that they don't want you to smile. Yeah, it's interesting. I tend to go with actors and models, and obviously I shoot a lot of actors and models. One of the things that I always try and do when I'm shooting an actor or shooting a model is I want to make them look like they already are an actor, rather than, I see a lot of headshots where they look a bit they look new. They look like they've never done it before. And I think that, again, probably comes back down to the photographer. But for me, whether you're an actor or a model or even a corporate, I want to make you look confident and capable. For me, that's the most important thing, to be able to get an expression on your face that makes you look confident. So people, whether you're an actor and you've never acted in anything, if your headshot makes you look confident and capable, well, then you're going to stand out from the crowd anyway, because there's lots of headshots out there where people are just kind of smiling and give you the whole real estate smile. And forgive me if there's any real estate agents out there listening, but you know what I mean. It's kind of that big, how you going, sort of a smile. So for me, confident and capability. Now, that could be a smile. It could be a big smile. It could be a small smile. It really depends on the face, I think, and a little bit about the personality and what the role might be. And I would always suggest that if you're an actor or a model, that you would have a whole range of images with different expressions, so that at any given time, a casting director can look at your shots and go, okay, that's you as the girl next door, or the boy next door, or that's you as the sexy girl, or that's you as the bitch, or that's you as the funny girl, or whatever it might be, whatever the role entails. So you've got a headshot with that expression pertaining to all those different roles, and that just comes from building a portfolio. So generally, I would think that, you know, if you came in for a session, that you're wanting to be looking to get 8 to 10 different expressions on your face. I don't know. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just want to comment on that, because I traditionally do big smiling faces all the time, because that's just how I am. I'm always, you know, generally happy and smiling. And so when I went to get my headshots for acting a few years ago, they actually said they specifically want no smile, because they want to picture me in various roles. Although I get what you're saying, Brad, and I agree. I think various photos showing different expressions is really good. They definitely want no smile as well, which I had none with no smile. So that was a challenge for me to do one without a smile.
And that may have been because they identified that all your headshots had big smiley smiles, and so I've never heard that before. So my comment on that is, if you get an agency and they want non-smiling shots, well, you get some non-smiling shots basically. But I always say, you need to have a shot with teeth in them if you're an actor or a model. And the reason I say that is because casting directors will want to understand, okay, we don't have to spend $10,000 on this woman's teeth before we give her this part. So I would always suggest, hey, have a couple of shots with your teeth showing, or at least one with a smiley teeth shot. But yeah, listen, I think, again, just being able to understand your own face and being able to craft a smile, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about smiles, so that might trigger some stuff for you as we move through the presentation. So, but thank you for the questions. That's cool. I'll keep moving. Rule of thirds, and again, this stuff just sort of pertains to the way that images are constructed. Often we generally divide our image up into 9 equal parts. Again, I talked about the most important thing in any headshot, I believe, are the eyes. And that's the place that I want people to land first. So I put the eyes in the most important part of the image, and that is generally on the top third of the image. So if you can see how that image is divided into 9 equal parts, and the eyes are on that top third. So again, I do that deliberately. Again, it's about proximity. And again, I've chopped the top of the head off. I don't really think that information on the top of the head is all that important. Some people get a bit funny about my style, and that's fine. I just like it. I think it looks good and it gets up close and personal, and that's what people want to see. They want to see you. They don't want a tiny little head in the bottom. They want, something, that's you. Boom. Okay, cool. So that's why I do that. All right, moving on. Rule of thirds, you can see that pertains to whether it's a full body shot or a line shot or whatever it might be. Obviously, various actors and models in there, a couple of corporates, a couple of doctors in there, and a bank manager. So, I shoot a wide variety of people and places. Okay, so I have a method when it comes to shooting people's headshots, and I call it my level method system. So this is applicable to anybody. You take this away with you, and you can pretty much, I want people to be able to stand in front of any photographer and be able to perform, or at least have some semblance of what to do. So I call it, like I said, my level method system: level of tilt, level of focus, level of smile. So level of tilt. So level of tilt is all about the jawline. Now, I'm not a big fat bloke, but if I go back, and I'm not sure how much you can see of me on the screen, but you get all this stuff under your chin here. Yeah. Now, not too many people don't have a little bit of stuff underneath there. Now, there is some misinformation out there that you get rid of it by putting your chin up like this, but that just makes you look weird. So what I tend to get everybody to do, as what's reason I call it level of tilt, is I get them to push their face out towards the camera. Now, if you just look at my jawline here, and you see when I push my face out towards the camera, yeah, what I'm doing is I'm creating distance from the point of my chin to my neck, yeah? So I'm pushing it straight out. So keep in mind that you need to be at camera level, yeah? If you've got a photographer and he's 3 foot tall, well, you need to either get down on your knees or have him stand on a box so that you're at the camera level. Otherwise, this thing doesn't work. If you've got a short photographer, all he's going to do is he's going to shoot you up under the throat. Alternatively, if you've got somebody that's 6'8" shooting you, well, he needs to come down to your level. So try where you can. Now, I know that it's not always possible, but where you can, get your head straight with the camera. Yeah, so you're not looking up, you're not looking down, you're looking straight at the camera like I am right now. So you go out. So it's level of tilt. So you go out, and what you've done is created distance from here to here. Now, cameras are 2-dimensional, so they squash you. So what gets left behind is a nice chiseled jawline. Now, if I go back to her, or even, where is she? Any of these guys, see this jawline along here? Now, that doesn't look weird. It doesn't look weird, but he's got his head thrust out towards me. And then what he's done, he's tilting down a little bit. Yeah. So what happens is when you tilt down, yeah, you sort of go out and then you go down. The down does 2 things. First thing it does, it gives you a little bit of humility, makes you look a little bit humble. Yeah. There's a fine line between cocky and confident. I want to err on the side of confidence. Yeah. I don't want to make you look all cocky. Yeah. You remember back in the schoolyard days where you're going, come on, you're putting your chin up, trying to make yourself look bigger. Yeah, we don't want to be doing that. So we're out and then we're down. Gives you a little bit of humility. Now, what happens is anything that you do have going underneath here, it's hidden up underneath there. So if we go back, it's hidden. Yeah, there she is. That was the one I was looking for. See that jawline? Yeah, so her face is thrust out towards the camera. And you can see it happening here when I do it myself. You're just chiseling up. And what you're doing is you're stretching the skin around your natural bone structure. Now, you will have to practice that in the mirror to get the right level. That's why I call it level of tilt. One of the things that you've got to understand is that it's no point you looking at Angelina Jolie and going, well, I'm just going to do what she does. What she does works for her face. What you guys have to do is work out what works for your face. Now, how far you have to go out might be different to the next guy. So that's a matter of working it out by doing little adjustments and maybe looking in the mirror and pushing your face out and going, okay, where does it stand? Now, that's going to feel a little bit weird. Again, you've got to understand that even though it's a little bit weird, it doesn't look weird. And you can see every single one of my photographs, they're doing that. Now, Nick's been in the studio and he's done it. He'll be able to tell you that it feels weird, but it doesn't look weird. And if you go and look at Nick's headshots, you can see that he's got a nice chiseled looking jawline. Yeah. So you've just got to trust that process, and that becomes important when you're at the camera level. So 2 movements: push the face straight out from the neck and then lower the chin. So it's designed to reduce the chins and give a chiseled jawline. Now, if you've got a fair bit of stuff going on underneath here, you're going to have to go out further than the next person. Yeah. But again, if you're a fitness trainer and you're fit and you don't have 58 chins, well, then you won't have to go out as far as anybody else. So again, you've got to adjust it for yourself. Yeah. Does that make sense? Cool. So that's the first part. Level of tilt.
Brad?
Sorry?
Just a comment from Sean there, who says the downside of pushing his face out, as an older guy, he ends up with a turkey neck.
No, if he's doing it properly, he shouldn't. Because what should happen if he goes out and then he goes down, the turkey part of his neck should be hidden up underneath here. So maybe he's just got to go down a little bit further. Yeah. So again, it's one of those things that needs to be adjusted. It's not where I would adjust for his face rather than, he's got to be able to look in the mirror and go, okay, how do I get my face? How much level of tilt do I need to give to work it out for my face? So that's, I would think if he can still see that stuff under there, then the camera's too low. So he might need to just go up a little bit higher on the camera, again, adjusting one way or the other, up or down, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be much, but you can probably even do it yourself with the camera on that we're all looking at the moment. You can see that if you adjust, I can look down or go up or whatever, you can slightly adjust yourself. So it's a matter of getting in the mirror and working out for yourself, or getting somebody that's got a camera and getting them to take photographs of you so that from the different levels, so you can work it out. What happens is that eventually, once you've worked out your own level of tilt, you can do it every time. And it's a bit of muscle memory. You just work out, okay, how far out do I need to push my face and how far down do I need to tilt to get rid of, or to make my jawline look good. Yeah. So again, you've got to adjust for yourself because everybody's face is different. Does that make sense? Have I got any more comments there, Nick, or questions?
There's a few people trying it all out now, so all good.
Good. Excellent. Okay. So you can see the chiseled jawline comes into play. Yeah. Okay. So the other one that I do with the jawline is a tilt. Yeah. And we talked before about a turn. Yeah. Which is just turning your head along its axis. Yeah. The other one is a tilt. Now there's two reasons why I do a tilt. Yeah. And it's just tilting your head a little. It's not over like this. It's just tilting your head just a little tiny bit. Now, I'll give you a rule to live by. Never, ever tilt your head towards a camera. Yeah, pretty simple. Never, ever tilt your head towards a camera. Now, if I tilt my head towards the camera, I get all this stuff in here. Yeah. If I tilt it away, it's gone. It's stretching all that skin along there. So if I'm looking straight ahead at the camera and I go out, I go down, and then I'd give a little bit of a tilt, I've stretched the neck that's closest to the camera. Yeah. Now, there's two reasons why we do that. One, I've already explained, we stretch the skin along here so there's no wrinkles, makes you look better. The other reason we do it is because it gives you a look that says you're interested. Now, normally when we're really interested in someone or something, we'll tilt our head towards them. And what we're actually doing is giving them our best ear. So we're slightly tilted towards them, and our onlookers understand that if I look at you like this, that I'm interested in you. So one of my goals is always to make you look interested and interesting. Yeah, which is very, very important. So we all understand that our headshot is not about ourselves. It's about our potential clients looking at us going, oh, yeah, I want that guy or I want that girl to do whatever it is that you do. So you're accentuating your level of interest in your potential clients. They need to feel like you're interested in them. So which leads on to my next thing, level of focus. Yeah, so this is to do with your eyes. Now, we've already talked about the fact that 86% of people have one eye bigger than the other. Now, we do have independent control over our eyes. So we can raise up the ligament under here. It's a ligament that we use for winking. We can raise it up to match the other one. So what I always try and do is make sure that people have got very even eyes. So I've got a big picture here on my wall, of a former Miss Universe that has one eye bigger than the other. Now, when she came into the studio, she was going off to Melbourne to be an actress and needed some acting headshots. So I said to her, listen, we're going to have to work out your bigger eye. And she kind of looked at me and went, what? I said, oh, yeah, your right eye is bigger than your left eye. And she's like, huh? What? So, and I said, you've been getting photographs since you were 5 And I'm the first photographer that's ever told you you've got one eye bigger than the other. She's like, yes. Okay, calm down. Get the makeup out of your eyes. Come back in and we'll fix it for you. So you do have independent control over that ligament underneath there. Now, what I get people to do, and it sounds really weird, it's called a squinch, or a better term would be a squint. Now, the reason I get people to squint is I want to make it absolutely clear to your potential clients that you are looking at them. Yeah, it's really, really important they understand that you're interested in them. I want to make you look interested and interesting. And the reason that the way that you look interested in somebody is you focus with your eyes. Now, if I was to sit here like this and open my eyes right up, you would say, Brad's a bit weird, or he's deer in the headlights, or he's a bit out to lunch. So I want to give you that look that allows your potential clients to look at you and go, okay, she or he is really interested in me. Now, again, it's like the jawline and the stuff under here. It really very much depends on your eyes. Now, some people have very big eyes. Some people have very small eyes. Now, I have very small eyes. I don't need to squint very much. In fact, most of the time my kids are going, Dad, why don't you open your eyes? That's just the way my eyes are. Other people have quite large eyes and they might have to squinch a lot to get that feeling that when their potential clients look at their headshot, they feel like they're interested in them. Now, I also understand for most men, it's not a big issue. Women, on the other hand, have been told often their whole lives, big eyes, you've got to have big eyes. It's all about having big eyes, yeah? I don't believe so. I think your headshot, whether it's for acting, modeling, or corporate, is about your potential client looking at you, understanding that you are interested in them, yeah? So you need to have a level of focus. So you do that by raising up that little ligament underneath here and working it out. Again, you might have to look in the mirror. I understand with the level of focus and the level of squint that it is a little bit difficult to adjust yourself. You really need to probably have someone taking photographs of you so you can have a look at your level of squint and get it. But there is, like I said, a ligament under here that you can raise up and give yourself that level of squint. Now, if you go top down, yeah, you end up looking a bit sleepy or a bit stoned. So you don't want to be doing that. So you want to make sure you're going bottom up, yeah? All right. So you can see here, if you look at the woman, the eyes are a bit zoned out. She's a bit starey, a bit deer in the headlights. And then the other one, the other shot, her eyes are slightly squinty and she just looks a little tiny bit more interested. Yeah. Does that make sense? Are there any questions there, Nick, about that before I move on to the smile?
All looks good at the moment.
Well, looks good. Okay. Excellent. So it is a challenge, that one. The jawline's slightly easier, but the eyes can sometimes present a problem because you do have to play around. So anyway, we'll move on. If there's no questions about the squinch or the squint.
Lots of squinching happening. I can
lots
see
of
it on
squinching
screen.
happening, yes. Yeah. Now, generally when people are in my studio with me, they're surprised that they feel really, really squinty, but then when they see themselves on the screen, so I shoot into a big 33-inch screen. So your picture comes up big, yeah, and it's close. And I'm very much into action learning. So we take a few shots, we come out, we look at it, and my clients go, that's what it looks like when I do that with my eyes or with my chin. Or so they're learning stuff as we go along. Like I said, big into action learning. So most of them are quite surprised at how much they're squinting and how squinty it feels. But when they see it on the screen, they don't look that squinty. They don't feel like they're squinting that much. But that's just, again, like I said, playing around with it. So no questions about that. So the last part is the level of smile. So I believe that everybody has a range of smile, from nothing up to their biggest smiley smile. I need to work out where is your best level of smile within your range. Now, generally, I don't tell you to smile. I'm going to make you smile. People generally smile for three main reasons. They see, they hear, or they think something funny. Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward. So part of certainly what I do in a session is working out, okay, what's going to make you smile? What do I have to say to you to make you smile? And I need to get a real smile. So what happens, let's imagine that I say something stupid and funny and your face bursts out into a big smile. So your smile comes up to here. Now, because it's a real smile, it's thought-based. It comes from in here. So eventually that thought fades away and your face should relax back down through the smile. Yeah. So what I do is I shoot you here, I shoot you here, I shoot you here, and I shoot you here. So then on my screen, we have your range of smile. So we look at the top one and we go, well, that one makes you look like a real estate agent. And again, I apologize for any real estate agents listening in. This one down here makes you look like a serial killer. Maybe in here somewhere is where we need to be. So then it's just big smile, relax, big smile, relax. Now, what I try and do, like I said, is work out what I need to say to you to make you really smile. Yeah. So your smile is dictated by four main things: your face, your profession, your personality, and your mood. Now, as I've said before, generally, I don't think you're depending on what you do, I don't think you should be really trying to show my personality because most people don't care. If you're a lawyer, then I think I want to make you look like a rock star lawyer. I don't want to make you look like the father of the year or the husband of the year. And that's often why I say, don't let your partner choose your headshots, because again, they will often choose the ones that most reflect your personality rather than sometimes your profession. So your level of smile will be dictated by some of these four things. Now, when I talk about your face, I talk about, okay, which side of your face you smile out of first, how big your smile is. It might be dictated by your teeth. Yeah. A lot of people don't like their teeth. A lot of people smile with their mouth closed because they've had bad teeth in their life, and they don't like showing your teeth. So I often spend time teaching people how to smile with their mouth closed. So that to me is really important, that you work out your level of smile, which is really, really important. So that will dictate your mood. And the mood, I think, is created by the atmosphere in the studio. Are there any questions around your level of smile? Does that all make sense to people? Yeah. A couple of people nodding. Yep. Okay. So where does your mood come from? It comes from your thoughts. What are you thinking? So my plan in a session is to take your mind completely off the fact you're being photographed. So I step you through this process where we work out what's your best angle, what's your best level of tilt, what's your best level of squinch, what's your best level of smile, and then I take your mind completely off the fact you're being photographed. The challenge I find for most people is when they stand in front of a photographer, they're often thinking about all the shit on their face they don't like. And when they're looking at a photograph of themselves, their eye is directly drawn things that they don't like on their face. Now, one of the messages that I try and really impart to people is that if you've got a corporate headshot, now if you take my headshot, for example, when people are looking at my corporate headshot, they're not looking for the next Vogue cover model because they're looking for a photographer. If they're looking at Nick's headshot, they're not looking for the next Vogue cover model. They're looking for a web designer or an online guy. So they're not critiquing his features. People are not looking at my face going, one of his ears sticks out more than the other. He's not going to know anything about photography. He's got a ball on the end of his nose. He's going to be a crap photographer. Yeah. So you've got to, if that's the most important thing you take away from this session today, is that corporate headshots, people are not critiquing your features. They're trying to get a vibe. And what they're trying to make up their mind is, does this person know anything about their profession? Are they any good? And I often say, my job is to make you look like you can do your job. And again, that comes from being confident and capable. Now, I know I'm probably almost running out of time. Am I, Nick? Am I getting close?
Yeah, we're pretty good. So yeah, got about
okay.
five minutes or so.
So I always believe that photographers must be able to influence what their clients are thinking, set the mood, create ideas, give energy. Actors and models have to be able to control what they are thinking. They have to be able to do it themselves. Now, I believe that we get to a point where corporates need to be able to understand their own face and need to be able to be photographed. Now, this stuff that you've been through today, and I know it's pretty quick, and it can be a challenge without the benefit of actually being photographed, because like I said, everybody's face is different. When I can take a picture of you and put it up on my big screen and go, see, they're the eyes. Okay, that's what happens. Generally, my sessions are about 90 minutes. People go, 90 minutes? Bloody hell, what the hell are you going to teach in 90 minutes? What happens over the course of that 90 minutes? As I said before, I'm very much into action learning. People get to practice. Now, how many times you've been in front of a photographer that lets you practice different expressions? Squint too much, turn your head that way, turn your head that way. So what you're doing is you're working out how to make your face look better. So by the end of the 90-minute session, you know exactly, you can't see your own face, but you know exactly how it looks because you can feel it. You can feel how your face looks. So you know how far out to push your jawline. You know how far to tilt, you know, your head down. You know how much to smile for whatever mood it is that you're giving off. And you know how much to squint and what to do with your eyes so that you can control, because really there's only three things on your face that you can move that will change your expression. We've already said your headshot is all about your expression. It's not about your features. People are not going to be critiquing your features if they're looking for a corporate. Doesn't matter what you do. The only one that's probably a little bit different would be a model. Yeah. But even as an actor, often they're not critiquing your features. They're looking at your vibe and your mood, and can you create an expression that's different? And that is just the three things: your mouth, your eyes, and your eyebrows. Once you understand how to coordinate those three things, you can pretty much make any expression you like. But it's practice. Yeah. We getting any questions there, Nick? So these are the smiles. Obviously, big smile, pretty straightforward. Nice teeth, slightly open, closed mouth smile, small smile. Now, big tip: if you're out there and you don't like your teeth and you don't like showing your teeth in a smile, you have to be able to smile with your mouth closed. Now, one of the big challenges with that is that what happens is when you're thinking, I want to close my mouth, is that most people, what they do is they jam their lips together. So the first thing, they've lost all their lip shape. Yeah, and they look like they've got pursed lips. But then they think, oh, but I've got a smile. So all of a sudden they're going. So the idea is to have your lips barely touching. And again, it's one of those things that you'll need to practice. Barely touching. Now, if you've got nice teeth, but you still want to have your mouth sort of closed, you can have and I say to people, breathe through your mouth. Breathe through your mouth. You've got to open your mouth and separate your lips. That'll give you your lip shape back. Yeah. So if you're one of those people, and I get lots of people in here that have got beautiful teeth, but they smile with their mouth closed. My first comment to them is like, you've had braces. And they go, oh, how did you know that? I go, because you smile with your mouth closed. You've got beautiful teeth, but you still smile with your mouth closed. So often people need to be taught how to smile with your mouth closed. Now, if you've got terrible teeth and you don't want to show them, that's fine. You've got to learn how to do it properly. Yeah, and that takes a little bit of practice by just having your lips barely touching. All right. Any questions? Any questions about any of that stuff?
Yeah, Bradley, I've got one.
Yes, far away.
I just want to go back to the big eye, small eye
Yep.
that you were talking about there. And when doing that shot and that slight tilt, are you sort of focusing on the side of the big eye or on the side of the small eye?
It very much depends on the person's face. So I know, because, you know, one of the beautiful things about what I do is every single face is different. So I have to almost start from scratch with every single person, because every single person that walks in the studio, I'm starting from scratch, because I've never met them before or never seen them. If somebody has one eye bigger than the other and they can't work out how to squint so they can even them up, and that's really all I'm trying to do, is give them even eyes. What I can do is I can put their bigger eye further away from the camera, so that, you know, just physics will tell you that it's further away from the camera, so it's going to look a bit smaller. Or I might put it closer to the camera. Again, it will depend on the other things that are what are they trying to say? You know, which side of their mouth do they smile out of? Now, some people are quite ambifacial, and ambifacial means that you could potentially look good from both sides of your face, and whether it's your big eye or smile, it doesn't matter. Other people, you look at them and you go, no, that's your side, and you'll just hang out on that one side for the rest of the session. So does that answer your question about the big eye, the small eye? Kind of.
Yeah, it gives me a bit of an eye up on it. Yeah.
Yep. So it's just working out, you know, how to even them up. Now, it is one of those things where I can get tricky in Photoshop. If somebody just completely can't get it, I can get tricky in Photoshop. There's a tool called Liquify that allows me to sort of even somebody's eyes out. So I'm not trying to change their face. I'm just trying to even their eyes out, so it just looks better. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Bradley.
Excellent.
I'll practice that tonight while I'm asleep. Yeah.
Are there any other questions out there for me, Nick?
Yeah, I've got a question, if I can jump in.
Sure.
Brad, it's Jane here, the art teacher.
Hi, Jane. How you going?
Good. I take a lot of photos of myself doing my artwork, because it's always good to see the person behind the artwork. Sure. I have a lazy right eye. So the fact that I wear glasses tends to hide that lazy eye. Yep. And you can't tell unless I say to you, can't you see how squinty my right eye is compared to my left? But the problem I always face is the reflection in glasses.
Yep. Okay, so you can do one of two things. Now, I had a former Miss Universe come in here last year, and she had a whole array of clothes, which is fantastic, but she also had an attaché case with her. And I was a bit curious, what's in the attaché case? So she opened it up. She probably had 15, 16 glass frames with no glass in them. Uh-huh. So she was able to put on glasses without having to worry about the reflection. So I thought, what a fabulous idea. So I've started to collect them myself.
I know, and I'm just thinking, I only threw 2 pairs away last week because they're 10 years old and my eyes are worse.
Yeah.
Great.
So that's certainly a trick that you can do. And that's what I do. I've got some pairs of glasses in here with no glass in them. So it means that you don't get the reflection in the glass.
I actually did buy a pair of frames without glasses, and they're really bright frames. So I don't know if you can see them. Oh, hang on, I can see. Oh no, they've got plastic in them. So I need to get them taken out, but they're all colourful.
Probably pop them out.
Yeah.
Now I come from a generation, because I'm closer to 60 than I am to 50, but I come from a generation that says if you wear glasses, you're instantly smarter than everybody else. So I do it all the time. And if you look through my portfolio and you look closely at some of particularly the younger girls that have got glasses on, you'll notice that they've all got the same glasses on, because I'll go stick these on. It just gives them that little bit of a different look.
Yeah.
But now if someone's got glasses and you can't pop the glass out, that's fine. What you can do is a couple of things. You're going to have to work at angling your light in a particular direction. Yeah. Because if you point the light straight at somebody's glasses, it'll bounce straight back to the camera.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things you can do. You can angle the light slightly down so that when the light hits the glasses, it'll bounce off almost. Yeah. And it won't go straight back into the camera.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is you can tilt the glasses up so that the glass itself is tilting down and not straight back into the that will very much depend on the type of glass. So you do have some people that wear those glasses that have got the computer tint on them.
Yes. Yeah.
So it just depends often on the glasses, the bifocals. So it does all sorts of different things, but you just have to have a couple of tricks up your sleeve to understand.
I might do that because it's the soft boxes that are behind me that are the problem. Because I'll have them on and you see this rectangle glimmer.
So what part of you are you getting in is it just your head?
No, it will be usually from the forehead down to the table, because I'll be photographing myself like with a paintbrush in my hand halfway through an artwork.
Okay, so I can see the light in the background now.
Yeah.
What I'd be tending to do is to have it up above your head here. Yeah, and angled down. Yeah. So that if the camera's there, you're looking straight at the camera, the light is coming from up above you.
Good point. Yep.
So try that. See if that works.
I will do that. Excellent. Thank you.
No worries. Sitting here with glasses on there.
I have a question. I've always.
Yes. Hi, Penny.
Hi. How are you going?
Good.
So you were talking about creating a vibe, and I know you said different contexts and that kind of thing. So you're saying don't show personality, but people are trying to get a vibe of you. So if you're curating a personality or creating something versus actually showing the personality of the person, how is someone who's looking at that photo getting the vibe of them?
Okay, so
it sounds very curated. It doesn't sound like the actual person is coming through the photo at the moment.
It very much comes back to, I think, the person themselves. And I think now, and I tell a story, and I've got a picture here. Sorry, I apologise, I can't show you, but there's a picture here of a lawyer, and he is the director of one of the biggest law firms here on the Gold Coast. And he came in to the studio, and his brief to me, he said, mate, I want a shot so that when people look at me, they go, yeah, I want him on my side. He's got that look on his face, and it was a little bit serious, but he's still a little bit warm. And I want to make you look like there's five things. Confident and capable is really important. Professional comes from the lighting and the overall aesthetic of the image, your industry appropriate clothing and lighting and all that kind of stuff. The last one I always say is warm and approachable. So warm and approachable as opposed to smiley and happy. Because, again, if you're a comedian, well then, yes, I get it. Show your personality, big, funny, that's what people expect to see. But if you're a lawyer or an accountant or, a social media person, I just think you've got to be able to adjust that look that first and foremost says, I'm really good at my job, as opposed to, hey, I'm a really nice person. Yeah, because often I would find, and I know this for myself, when I'm looking for somebody to do a job, that I'm not going through LinkedIn going, I'm going to find the real estate agent with the best personality, or I'm going to find the lawyer with the biggest smile, because that's not a priority to me.
So, okay, I'm going to ask you another question then. You keep referring to very, very corporate. So you get a social media manager in there. They're not as super corporate as a lawyer and accountant. Like I personally want to find the quirkiest social media manager I can find. So a very curated photo to me doesn't go hand in hand with a social media manager. So that's why my question is, I'm curious, genuinely curious about the personality aspect for those headshots and those industries that aren't quite so, they're not a lawyer, they're not that corporate, they're that kind of, you know, on the fringes of corporate.
I understand.
I want someone who, if there's my social media, I want them out there making a mark, making me memorable. So what makes them memorable versus the same as the other ones?
Yep, no, I understand what you're saying. And I think it's an adjustment. Everybody's face is different, everybody's personality is different. I don't give people just deadpan expressions, but certainly if somebody's a little bit quirky, I'm going to understand that within about 3 seconds of meeting them, and particularly their clothing's going to indicate that, the way their animation, the way they talk, all those types of things are going to indicate that they're a little bit quirky. So I'm going to show that. Yeah, I want to show that, but at the same time, I want you to be able to look at them and go, they look really good at their job, because you're looking for a social media manager or a social media person. You're not looking for somebody to go out and get pissed with next Tuesday. So
I guess as an example, my social media coach / manager, her photograph is her, yes, it's full body shot, to be fair, in roller skates, wearing a sparkly sequin jacket on the phone, on her banana phone. I want that person. She's got my attention, and she's going to help me get people's attention.
You know, again, if somebody is like your social media person and that's what they want, then they will probably come to me and they'll have some very specific ideas around what they want, and we'll discuss that as a thing and go, okay, this is what the sort of thing I'm thinking about. Now, I suppose today what I've been talking about is the more generalized sort of my theories. But I have people, I've got a guy coming in tomorrow that's a little bit left of center too, and he likes a bit quirky, and we sit down at the beginning and go, okay, what are we doing today? How are we going to make you look? What are you going to wear? And, you know, all those types of things. So I think it very much is based around an individualistic type of a situation, because, as I said, every single face that comes in here is quite different, as is every single personality. What I'm trying to, I suppose, say to people is that you can have control over your expression and what you're saying to your potential clients, and that comes from here. Okay, she's used her whole body and she's out there, but she might only appeal to a very, very small part of the market.
Niching.
She might be really busy and she might be fantastic. I get it, but she's appealing to particular clients that want that sort of a social media manager. There's probably plenty of people out there that don't want that sort of a social media manager, if you understand. So I adapt for the particular people, but for me, one of the most important things is somebody's expression and giving them the ability to be able to control that, whether they want to look quirky or serious or corporate or funny or however it is. It's understanding those basics, that vibe that you give off comes from your mouth, your eyes, or your eyebrows. And they're the three things that you can move that'll change your expression. Once you understand that and understand how your face works, then you can pretty much create any expression you like, from, you know, funny or quirky or serious or smiley or loving or whatever that vibe is you're trying to give off. So I suppose I'm coming from a little bit more of a general sort of a situation.
That's just curious as a quirky person.
What's that? Sorry?
Just curious as a quirky person.
As a quirky
person.
And
I know Mrs. Red is also someone I would, if I saw an art teacher who had a straight corporate photo, I wouldn't wear them. I'd want a quirky one.
Yeah, well, that's it. You've got to adjust for what it is that you do. And I think that's part and parcel of it as well.
All right.
That's
Well,
good question. I like it.
That's probably about all we've got time for. Great discussion and great content as well too. So I think, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I wanted Brad here, because he's just so knowledgeable in this whole area of, headshots. And the experience that I had with Brad was I took in a photo, and it was a selfie that I took, and I thought it was pretty good because I'd put a bit of Photoshop into it, and I'd, sort of made it look like it, had a bit of personality and whatever. And his first words to me was, "Oh, that's pretty shit. We'll sort that out now." So, and I thought, okay.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, well, we'll see what he can do. And I went in with an open mind, and the whole experience, and it really was an experience of understanding how to take photos. That was the biggest takeaway that I got from it, and getting some great headshots as well. Time for me to go and renew them, because back then I had a couple of suit and tie, and I never wear suit and tie anymore. And I had a beard then, so I don't have a beard now. So there'll be some more headshots.
Those shirts you wear.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's my quirky personality coming through. So, all right. Well, let's give a big warm round of applause to Brad. That was an excellent session tonight. So, do you want to stop sharing your screen there, Brad?
Yep.
And
well, before we do that, are we going to give away?
Yes, I'm just going to do that now. So,
all right.
So if you stop sharing your screen, I was going to say we've got a door prize for tonight as well. And we've got a special way of drawing it, our normal special way. But maybe, Brad, if you tell us about the door prize.
I've got to find the right one.
Because even though Brad's talked a lot about headshots tonight, as I said earlier in the evening, he also does a whole lot of wave art and other sorts of shots. So he's got this beautiful photo there. Tell us about the photo there.
So this was shot in, I know it's probably a little bit hard to see, this was shot in Mermaid Beach. So along with the headshots, what I do is I do a lot of what they call wave art, which means I swim out into the ocean and stick my head in underneath waves and take photographs. So this is a 36 by 24 print. So it's right now I've got an exhibition of all my wave art and my drone art happening at the Robina Community Centre down there next to the shopping centre down there at the Robina Library. This was one of the shots. The printer made an extra one for me because he's a nice guy. So I've got this to give away. So I don't know how do you choose the winner, Nick?
All right. Well, we've got a special thing called the Wheel of Names.
Hey, there you go.
Yep. And the way it works is you have to be here to win it. So if you disappeared early, well, actually, you won't even know. We'll just redraw it again. So, so someone here is going to win this print. So let's go and spin the wheel. And a drum roll, please. As it clicks around, and the winner is Stacey.
All right, where's Stacey? Is Stacey there?
See here, let's just have a look. Oh yes, Stacey's here.
There she is.
Excellent. Congratulations there, Stacey. That'll make your dog grooming studio sort of a wee bit more welcoming for those furry friends coming in. So maybe cool. if you drop your details or your email or whatever into chat there for Brad, just shoot it through to Brad and chat there, and he can pick that up. Otherwise, cool. We'll get it through to Brad.
Excellent.
All right.
Well done, Stacey.
So yeah, Stacey Rourke.
Excellent.
All right. And we also have you've got a special offer for people here as well too, that if they want to avail of it.
I have. So obviously people on the Gold Coast or Brisbane. I've recently got some space happening in Brisbane as well. So I now have got a little studio in 8 Mile Plains. So if you want to come in, your first image is going to be free. So how I have a shoot fee, and then you buy, generally what I say is you buy as many or as few images as you want from the ones that I shoot. So normally you pay for the shoot and then you buy your images on top of that. So your very first image is going to be free. So what you need to do is obviously you need to remind me that you were here for this little Zoom chat and tell me that you're part of Nick Cree's group, and you can avail yourself of that. So that's $50 worth of value there. So you get your first image for free.
Awesome. And where do they find you, Brad?
I'm at the Headshot Guys with an S.com.au is the best way to contact me. My email is brad@theheadshotguys, but if you go to my website, theheadshotguys.com.au, and just click on the little box there, you should be able to send me a message. That's it.
Awesome. And this link is now in chat there, so you can click on it to get the headshot. Just remember, click on to get the website to then get your headshot. Remember the 3 little dots on the right-hand side that you can click on to save it to your computer. So now is probably a good time to do it, or almost now.
Any plans to set up a studio in New Zealand, Brad?
Not in the very near future. I have toyed with the idea, and people have been suggesting that I should franchise out my style and my stuff, but don't know, not sure.
Sounds like a good opportunity for a trip over to New Zealand when the travel bubble opens, and heading Wellington where Victoria is, and Auckland where Dennis is, who shot off early. So he wanted you in New Zealand as well too.
Did he?
The travel bubble has opened.
Maybe Victoria and Dennis can get together and they can fly me over. That'd be nice.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right. Well, look, that's another fabulous session tonight. Thanks very much, Brad, for coming in and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us. It was a very good session. For those that want to watch it again, it will be up on YouTube at the end of tomorrow. So go to the Smash Go YouTube channel. If you go and subscribe, then you'll get an email letting you know that it's up there. We'll put the link for the YouTube channel in. There we are. Link for the YouTube channel is in chat. Tomorrow, for those that want to grab a cup of coffee and join us at office hours, 10 o'clock Queensland time, we have office hours on Zoom. There's no agenda. There's no speaker. It really is business owners and entrepreneurs getting together to have a chat about anything really online. So it could be apps and tools, could be SEO, could be websites, could be social media, whatever. So we have some really good, interesting discussions there. And there's always some takeaways there that are good. So that's tomorrow at 10 o'clock Queensland time. The link for that is now in chat as well too. And next week we have, what do we have next week? We have, for those that know Steve Brosman, we've got Steve Brosman coming through next week to chat with us. So we'll get more out about his topic for next week. So just keep an eye on social media. So if you're not a part of Business Owners Smashing It Online, come and join the Business Owners Smashing It Online Facebook page. And we always announce it there, or you can always find it on my profile as well too. And it's on LinkedIn, or you can just go and subscribe to join next week as well. The link for that is now in chat too. So now's the time to hit the 3 dots to save the chat. That's all that's going in there. So once again, Brad, thanks for sharing with us tonight. And for everyone that is here along tonight, glad you showed up, and hopefully you found it worthwhile. I think you did, because I saw a whole lot of squinching and sort of chins going forward and tilts and whatever. So lots of beautiful people on screen. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of beautiful people being photographed as well. Go and have a great evening, and look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow and some of you next week. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.